What's up guys, Schmidt here. Welcome back to another video. Real quick, thank you guys so much for the support on the last couple of videos. If you guys have missed them, make sure to go check them out down below, talking about some of the new Black Ops 4 information that we've been getting here lately. Some really good information, so make sure you guys check that out. And before we get into stuff today, if you guys could drop a like on the video, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button down below. We're covering a ton of stuff here with Call of Duty, so we'd really appreciate you guys' support and helping the channel. Anyway, getting into some of the stuff today, we're going to be talking about how this new 3-year development cycle that Call of Duty has implemented here for the past 4 or 5 years or so really isn't panning out, and why that is. So to kind of recap a little bit, we've always had this 2-year development cycle here with Call of Duty between Infinity Ward and Treyarch. It kind of started back with COD 1. Infinity Ward made COD 1 and COD 2, and then Treyarch came into the mix, and ever since then, they kind of alternated all the way through Call of Duty Ghosts. As soon as we hit 2014, after Call of Duty Ghosts, Advanced Warfare came out, which was the first title by the third development studio, Sledgehammer Games. Once they came into the mix, it started the 3-year development cycle. So after Advanced Warfare, it then went Treyarch with Black Ops 3, Infinity Ward with Infinite Warfare, and now we're back here with Sledgehammer Games with Call of Duty World War II, and of course we're getting Black Ops 4 with Treyarch, so we're continuing that 3-year development cycle. One of the big things about the development cycle coming into Call of Duty, the 3-year one that is it's supposed to help give the developers more time, because to completely innovate a game and bring something new and fresh ideas, every game as a developer brings one out, so as each developer brings a new game, they want to bring fresh new ideas to the franchise. The way they're going to be able to do that is by having the most amount of time to develop their games. Of course, by extending that development cycle to 3 years, it helps out with them being able to bring fresh new ideas to the franchise and polish up their games to make sure that they're ready for launch. However, as we've seen here with the past few titles, that has not really panned out too well. Call of Duty World War II and Infinite Warfare, for the most part, being two really big examples as to this not panning out. Things just always not being ready for launch, things saying coming soon, like paint jobs, leaderboards, combat records, all that stuff we've had in Call of Duty since the beginning is now not ready at launch. And now we're here getting rumors for Black Ops 4, hearing that they don't have enough time to develop a campaign. There's some other things to kind of go along with that. It's not just that they didn't have enough time. They had some things here with, being too outlandish and in Activision not really thinking that would work too well. And now we're hearing things about multiplayer, how they're having to redo it, and it's just this crazy story of these developers that just seem like they're scatterbrained, and they should have enough time to get games done, but for whatever reason, since the 3-year development cycle, there's been so many issues with them trying to have complete games at launch, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, since they have more time, the games should be better at launch. However, there's a couple big reasons that are getting in the way of this from being able to help them now. And I want to talk about a couple of those reasons because, people are saying all the time, look, they have 3 years to make their games. How can they know how to have these polished? And I'm not here to make excuses for these developers, but I'm kind of putting it out there to kind of explain to people why, since this 3-year development cycle, things have somehow gotten worse as far as completions of games. Number one is additional DLC content. So as you guys have noticed here, since the start of this 3-year development cycle, we've gotten a ton more DLC content following launch, whether that be things like guns, whether that be things like camos, uniforms, emblems, calling cards, all that stuff brand new coming into Call of Duty after launch, which is good. It gives us more content for those current games as they go throughout the year, so we don't just get a game and we get map packs throughout the year and that's it. No, we get additional content to keep us engaged in the game, which is good. And now we've started to do special events that Modern Warfare Remastered started, and of course we've continued here in World War II. Of course we have the Blitzkrieg event going on right now, which is good, and it keeps those games really going throughout the year and keeps people engaged for the game, so it's just not the same old thing of just, well, all we have to do is rank up and prestige and wait for maps, and the new Call of Duty comes out, we do it all over again. There's more stuff to go for. There's guns to go for. There's other things to grind for in these games, as we go throughout the year, which is a very good thing. However, this cuts in development time, because they have to support their game at least through one whole year. So let me put this in perspective for you guys. So Call of Duty World War II comes out not too long after that. They're right now, Sledgehammer Games right now, assuming something hasn't happened to them or they haven't cut them from the dev team or anything. But assuming none of that's happened, they're working on their next Call of Duty game right now. Whether that be a new title or whether that's going to be like Advanced Warfare 2, nobody really knows, but they're working on their next title right now, while at the same time supporting Call of Duty World War II, and they're doing a heck of a job supporting the game. I mean, they've pretty much brought it back to life for a lot of people by totally changing up the foundation of the multiplayer and just all this new content, all these events. It's working really well for Call of Duty World War II, but they kind of have to split up what they're doing here with their teams. So they've got, let's just assume for convenience sake that they've got half the team working on supporting Call of Duty World War II, and the other half is working on just for namesake, let's say Advanced Warfare 2. Hopefully not, but, you know, maybe. That keeps a complete focus on developing Advanced Warfare 2 and keeping it, making sure it's going to be a solid game and putting all of your resources toward making that a total complete game at launch. That's something that hurts. You know, now you've got a extra year to kind of work on stuff, but the whole, like, first third of your development cycle is spent putting a big focus on maintaining your current game. That's time being taken away from the next one and making sure that one is good to go at launch. Now again, I'm not a developer, I'm not a part of a development team, so I don't know how much of their team is put on to, like, preparing the next game and how much of it is, like, you know, keeping the current game solid. Like, I don't know how much goes into that, but that's just one thing, is like we're getting a ton of more, like, support on the current games post-launch now than we ever were before, since we've had this 3-year development cycle. So it's could be potentially, in essence, not really giving them that much more time to develop the next game. And the other thing that I see cutting into this new development time is, so with, like, the old 2-year cycle, they really didn't have much time for innovation, bringing new things to the game, trying to create the next big thing in the Call of Duty franchise. They didn't really have time to do that. You know, they put their game out, they maybe supported a little bit by putting in some extra DLC content, but nothing like we see today, and they would get right to work on their next game, but they wouldn't have time to think of anything new or creative. They would just basically have to take some of the stuff that they did in the past with their, you know, their last game or whatever, and just kind of build on that for their next game. That's really all they could do, and for the most part, it worked pretty well, although it, you know, just kind of left some people saying, well, Call of Duty is the same copy and paste every year, which, you know, to most Call of Duty fans, I don't think that's too much of a problem, but now that we have more time, in essence, here with these development teams, they're trying to focus on, or maybe Activision's putting this focus on them, I'm not really sure, to try and create something totally brand new. Like, we're hearing the rumors that Black Ops 4 was kind of developed to be more of an Overwatch type game here with the multiplayer. That idea never would have even came to thought back in the old 2-year development cycle with the 2 teams. They would never even had time to try and put something like that together. They just would have had to build on what they had already established in the multiplayer. Now that they have more time, they're trying to just do this brand new, big new thing with Call of Duty and just, like, shoot the franchise some other direction because they have the time to do so, rather than just taking what has made Call of Duty so great and using that extra time to be able to give us things that we've never had before. I'll tell you one thing, I have never seen a launch of a Call of Duty game go 100% smoothly. Wouldn't that be something to focus on rather than trying to change up the whole core of the multiplayer? This year with Call of Duty World War II, we only got 9 maps. Wouldn't that be something more to focus on, like giving us more maps and, you know, more good maps than trying to change the whole core of a multiplayer? Why don't they give us things that we've never had before in Call of Duty, not in essence of changing the gameplay, but giving us more content at launch and making sure the games have a better foundation and a good start at launch, like we've never been able to see before because we haven't had this kind of time with the development cycle. Use the time to take the things that Call of Duty has been so good at and make them even better. Don't use this extra time that you have with these development teams to make them change Call of Duty. That's not what that extra time is there for. Now again, I'm not part of a development team, I'm not a developer, so I can't say that this is exactly 100% true, but when you kind of look at the information that we've gotten, especially if these rumors are true for Black Ops 4, I think it really just spells itself out that they're using this extra time that they have to try and change Call of Duty rather than take the foundation of Call of Duty and use that extra time to build on that and make it something greater. So in my opinion, this really is why the 3-year development cycle is not looking very good and why it's not being used to its full effect and why we're seeing games, when they're supposed to have extra time, we're seeing them come out worse and worse every year. So not that Call of Duty or Activision will ever see this, and they sure as hell won't ever listen, but take this extra time that you guys have for developing Call of Duties, take a great Call of Duty from the past, or take its foundation, take its thoughts, take its ideas, and build on that, and perfect it. Take the things that made some of the old Modern Warfare games, or the old Black Ops games, take those things that made those games so great, and build on that stuff, and give us stuff that we didn't have back then. Don't give us a whole new multiplayer experience. Don't try to change what makes Call of Duty great. Call of Duty is Call of Duty because Call of Duty made itself to be Call of Duty. I hope that made sense. Anyway, I think you guys get what I'm saying here. Like, use this development time to make Call of Duty a better experience, not a different experience. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this down below in the comment section about the 3-year dev cycle. Like, I'm not giving these devs excuses, but they're just not putting their time where it needs to be, and whether that's their fault or Activision's fault, I guess probably we'll never know. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. Make sure to smack the schmidt out of the like button down below. And if you guys are new to the channel and you like what you saw, and you're looking forward to more Call of Duty content in here, we're covering World War II, some future stuff here with Black Ops 4. So you guys, if you're looking forward to that, you're in the right place. Hit the subscribe button down below and turn on those notifications so you know when those videos go live. Hopefully you guys have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.